Hey guys, and welcome back to Human with Colin. Today, we're going to be trying Perm's belt method, but with a slight twist. Before we do that, I have a couple things to ask of you. First of all, if you enjoy these type of videos, please consider subscribing, as it really helps my channel grow. And second of all, do you prefer when I use a matte, or when I just use my gray desk? In the future, my desk color will change. I think it might change to white, I'm not 100% sure. But for now, I have a gray desk. I could always lay down like some white sheet or something if you guys prefer white, but I kind of like the gray myself. It doesn't really bother me, so whatever you guys like, just let me know down in the comments. And let's just get into it. So generally, if you do CFOP, your cube will be, or the way you will solve it will be into steps. So first you do cross, very inefficient cross. It's like that, and then you do F2L, like this, and then OLL, like this, and then PLL. So then your cube is solved. But for Perm's belt method, you first make a belt around the first layer, so I will build that now. I'm very slow at it because I haven't done it very much. There's the first two pieces, the third piece, and then the final piece. So you build this belt around the middle layer, and then essentially the idea for what most people think is they think you could just do OLL and PLL, then flip your cube and do OLL and PLL. But you get many cases that you run into, which makes it way less efficient than CFOP. So it goes from belt, OLL, PLL, OLL, PLL, which would be 5 steps, to having to orient the edges, and then orient the corners, and like putting them in the right spots, and then doing parity, and then working with corner twists and stuff. It goes from like 5 to like 9 or 10 steps or so. So in reality, it's really not a good method, even though by first glance it looks great. So I didn't actually watch on to the rest of Perm's video just for this. So I'm going to try doing the belt method by myself using my own types of parity and stuff, and then I'm going to watch his video to determine how it would be best done. So take 4. Let's hope I do it this time. But here we have the cube, and we just want to build the belt first. So I'm going to start by doing this. And I notice I can't really use my inspection time as well. I don't know if that's just because this is different or if the belt's actually harder, but for me it most definitely is. So now we built the belt, and this is where Perm said everybody thought you think you could do OLL, PLL, OLL, PLL, and be done. And then screw F2L. But that does not work, because you have your like white pieces on the yellow side and your yellow pieces on the white side. So this is basically where I stopped watching the video, and I decided, why not make a video on this? This is really cool. And so what I do next is I started by trying to put each of the edges on the right side, but then I realized if I want to be able to do this properly, I should do the corners first, because I'll show you in a minute, but the way I do the edges does not, like, it works, but then when I do the corners, it messes with the edges. So if I do the corners first, it messes with the edges that I don't care about, but then when I do the edges, it doesn't mess with the corners. So what I'm going to do first is I started by thinking, so I just want to swap these two pieces. I hold the belt on top, so the yellow goes here and the white goes here, and that's what I want. So I started by doing T-perms, and then I realized it messes with your belt, so don't want to do that. But since your edges don't matter yet, you can do your F-perms, and that will put them on the right side. So I'm just going to keep doing that until they're done. And so now you can see we've got all the corners on each correct side. So like all the yellows on the yellow side and all the whites on the white side. And then now, basically, so when I learned CFOP, the way I learned to build a cross was to do M prime, and then, so if I have the piece on the left, M prime, U prime, M. But obviously that's not the most efficient. So normally if you're going to insert a piece into the bottom, you'll do that general insert. But I was thinking, so if I want to bring, so say I want to bring the white one down, you do that, it messes with your belt and with your corners. But what I realized is this insert doesn't mess with any of your F2L pairs. So it's not going to mess with my belt, and it's not going to mess with my corners. So we can try that. So you do that, and it doesn't mess with your belt or corners. So that's what I've started doing. So now I've got each of these on the correct side, and we have parity, which only appears on, actually no, I actually didn't get parity this time. Let me set up parity. I need to do that slowly because I've messed up 3 times and had to retake this. But the way you know you have parity is if you have an odd number of edges facing up. So what I do, this is an algorithm I learned when I was doing blind, but I gave up. M prime, U prime, M prime, U prime, M prime, U2, M, U prime, M, U prime, M, U2. So that swaps, or that flips these 2 edges. So, obviously we're going to want to flip edges, so that's what I do. M prime, U prime, M prime, U prime, M prime, U2, M, U prime, M, U prime, M, U prime, or U2. So now we can do OLL and PLL minus the corner twists, which we can fix here. So I personally haven't found a perfect fix for this, but I think I know what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to act like this corner is twisted up, and then basically the same thing for the bottom one. So I'm going to do my OLL and PLL, and then just leave this one twisted. So it's hard to recognize this, but okay. So I'm just going to twist this corner so you guys can see what happened. So we have parity. So basically we have what would look like an RA perm, minus this, but then also another bar. I don't know if I twisted that the right way. Yeah, I think I did. So what I do for parity is basically what you do in your cross. Let me actually set this up. So if you messed up your cross, like J-Perm taught, I'm doing a lot of J-Perm stuff, you do M, U2, or sorry, M2, U2, M2, and then I just add on a U2 to fix it. So what that does is it flips these 2 and flips these 2. And the cool thing about the belt method is if these 2 are flipped, then these 2 will also be flipped. So since I recognized I have parity, I do the parity algorithm, and then I am going to do PLL parity, PLL now, sorry. So, I mean, this is kind of cheating, but I kind of twist the corner to see what the algorithm is, and then I do my PLL algorithm minus the corner twist, and then I just do my OLL minus the corner twist, and then PLL minus the corner twist. And then, once I get here, I do a beginner's type thing where I orient the corners. Okay, let me read that. Where I orient the corners, and I messed up somewhere. Yes, okay. So I did have this corner twisted the wrong way. But, so basically, I'll kind of show this. So basically, you could get a case on any side where these 2 need to be twisted, and rather than cheating and twisting them, what you can do is just put them in the D layer, and then figure out how this corner needs to twist to get the bottom, and then same for this one. So if you do 2 sexies, you can recognize that this corner will twist this way. And if you do 2 anti-sexies, it'll twist that way. So I can do 2 sexies here, and then this one needs to twist this way, so I do 2 anti-sexies, and then the cube is solved. Now, I'm going to look at J-Perm's tutorial on it. Just kidding. I'm going to speed solve with it once, and then later, I'm going to look at J-Perm's tutorial, try to figure it out, and then I will try to solve on it. Speed solve. So obviously, this method is still really rough. I have barely any practice, and I'm most definitely not doing it in the most efficient way. But that's kind of the purpose of comparing my way of doing it that I immediately thought of to what J-Perm did. So basically, I'm just planning the belt. So that's the first piece I'm going to do. And yeah. There we go. I forgot the Perm algorithm for a second. Okay, now edges. And then, oh, I actually had parity and I didn't realize it. So, what is this? Did I have parity? I mean, these 2 need to be swapped. Now, oh wait, I have a U-perm. Yeah, this is quite boring for you viewers. I'll do this algorithm. There we go. Just a corner twist away. Recognition on this is very bad. I think this is a GD perm. Yes. And then I'm going to put these both in the bottom layer. 128. So you can see the time there. I will save it on the stack mat. Save. And then later I will kind of look at JPerm's method, and I'm going to kind of show you how he did it compared to mine. So I'll kind of do like steps side by side, showing how I did it and how he did it, and how many moves it saves and stuff like that. And then I will try doing a speed solver too on that one as well, and comparing the times. This method is very fun. It's basically like relearning to solve the cube, besides the fact that you already know the algorithms. So the annoyance of learning algorithms is gone, and you're kind of relearning it. So I'll be back. So I'm back the next day, and it just so happens that there's a lawnmower. Joy. But, so overnight, I kind of learned how he did his belt method, and I'm going to compare it now to how he did it. So he makes his belt relatively the same. I'll just kind of build it here. He does it more efficient than I do, but I don't think that's really the purpose that we're getting here. Just like how the cross, if I try to imitate someone, mine's going to be different as well. But, so we've got the belt now, and he now puts the edges in the correct spot, and he does it similar to how I do it. And I'll just do it now, so... And then now he does the corners, and he does it with an F2L way, which I personally find it a lot harder to visualize if you're doing it like F2L, because you have to keep this edge like the same way. So like that works. But it's like to move this to the corner, you just do it like an F2L case. But I think it's just easier if you were to do the corners first. I mean, it's going to take more moves, but it's a lot easier to visualize in my opinion. Then he'll do the same type of thing here. I'll do it like that. And then, so now we're kind of where I did it before. And he does this OLL parity with a not a commutator, like a way he would flip edges with his blindfolded method, but it's a very long algorithm, so I'm just going to do the same one. And now we have, and he also, so he does his OLL minus a corner twist. And then I'll do and then he does the parity just like I do. But for his corners, he uses commutators from 3-style blindfolded stuff, and he does a bunch of RUD moves. So I'm not actually going to do that because, first of all, the algorithm was really long, and second of all, I don't think it's going to save much time. But now we're just going to do this case, so I'll do this. Minus the corner twist, and then I'm not sure what case this is. What is this? I think it was an F-perm. Yeah, so it was an F-perm. So he would have already had fixed the corners, but since I'm not going to do that. Dang, that is as loud as it possibly could be. But we're going to try going to his method for like the most part, but besides like the more advanced algorithms. So I'll be back. And one more thing he talked about was becoming more efficient. So after building the belt, when you're orienting the pieces, you could add like 2 on at a time. But he also said the same type of thing as I did. There's no reason to really do that unless you're trying to get fast. Oh my gosh, that is very loud. But, so let's look. So the save time was 128. So, let's see if we can beat it. Alright. And then he does his edges. Then he does corners with F2L. So, I will just do this one. Honestly, you could just keep doing these triple sexy ones and it would work. And here we'll do T-perm. And then here, I'm not sure what case this is. Oh, this is a N-perm. And then I'm going to do this, so the red one goes to the bottom here. I'm going to reverse that. Wow, I got a sub 1. So, I'm not sure that completely accurately would reflect the times. I think I was able to more efficiently figure out what I was doing, but I'm not sure the F2L really saved that much time. It's definitely more complicated, but I think doing the triple sexy ones would probably be the simplest to visualize, because what I didn't realize is doing the F-perm requires you to do the edges last, but if you do your triple sexy move, it doesn't mess with the edges, it doesn't mess with your belt, it literally is just going to swap these two, which is what you want to do. So that's 12 moves rather than F-perm, which I want to say is, here wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I probably counted wrong. But, so that's saving a lot of moves, and it's a lot faster because it's the same moves repeated over and over. So, yeah. So, doing it by myself and how I would have done it definitely is less efficient than how he did it. But also, I think my way was simpler. Just like, the first thing I thought of was this, and it's less complex. But that's all I've got for today. So, as always, thanks for watching, and see you next time on Cubing with Colin.